everybody. It is quick. I'm so glad to see you this evening. We have a really great interviewer, and I'm excited because apparently we have tons of mutual friends on Facebook. And I have looked over stuff and I've seen it in passing, and I thought it was so amazing. And so we have Emily Drouin tonight. And let me tell you, she not only illustrates comics, but she illustrates children's books, she works with animation, and she's an art educator. And something really cool that I found out about her is she's the founder and owner of KidsCon New England. Like, that is pretty amazing. So, Emily, welcome to Gen X Toy Box, and thanks for doing my interview tonight.
Hi, nice to meet you, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, we love all things geek culture and we love comic book artists. And so as soon as I found you, I was like, oh, I need to have her on the show. So I'm very excited. So you've accomplished so much with your art talent and your creative talent. And I would love to know more about how it all began. So were you always a creative person? Was it always something you were dabbling in? Or was it something that came naturally to you?
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, I had a love of reading comics, particularly the ones in the Sunday paper.
Oh, cool.
And I loved going to the library. It was my favorite because you get all these books to choose from. And they'd also have a comic section too, of like collections of Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes. And
Yeah.
it really inspired me to start creating my own comics. And I love to write, and I also co-write my comics too. And so when I was little, I was really into Grimm's fairy tales,
Very
and
amazing.
yeah, and so I used to create a bunch of like Grimm's fairy tale inspired stories. And my teachers, when I was in elementary school, really saw my passion for drawing and also storytelling, and they really encouraged that.
Mm.
And they used to make photocopies of my work too. And one of them said, "I'm going to keep these because one day you're going to be famous,"
Right? Right. Oh my
which
goodness.
is I really think it's important to have that, to teachers, to parents, family members, friends, to really encourage kids nowadays, especially to just pursue that. And I'm really thankful that my parents saw that I
Mm.
was really into drawing, and they signed me up for art classes when I was 5 years old.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, and I continued on through college, and so I think it's really important to uh, try to find that outlet, especially nowadays with all the pandemic and everything going on. It's a great time to escape into
Okay.
the arts and get away from all the negativity out there, and just to create and go into your imaginary worlds, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And I can honestly see why you lean toward like your child audience and your like all ages group, mainly because it was a huge impact on you as a kid, how much you love drawing and the support you got. Um, so like I know you said you did like Garfield and stuff, but like did you ever create anything like really memorable, like some of your original characters or anything when you were little?
I mainly had a bunch of kids that I used to draw,
Okay.
and they were kind of like in a chibi, and kind of influenced by anime
Oh yeah.
too. And they didn't really have any specific names, but they've evolved into being what I think consider my comic explorers. There's these kids that are the mascots for my KidsCon New England events. So they're um, essentially goes back to those characters I used to draw as a kid.
That's awesome. That's a really
Yeah.
cool tie-in. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't even remember anything I would even draw as a kid. I'm pretty sure my mom has some stuff saved, but it is not good by any means. So but it's kind of cool that, you can see how the work you did as a kid eventually had a big impact as an adult. That's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, sadly, I don't have those stories. When I went to college and my parents sold the house and moved, and it just stuff got
oh,
thrown out.
that's the worst.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would have been nice to see. Um,
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's unfortunate, but I mean, you're doing tons of really cool stuff now that is published and is out there, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's good. So I did want to talk about your college experience. You had a lot of work in college. So you went to school for art and graphic design.
Yep.
What was that experience like for you? So how did your love of creating grow and how did it change when you were in college?
Yeah, well, I always knew I wanted to get into publishing, and I saw graphic arts as being a good way to get that foundation. I love computers too. And back at when the early days of the internet, I was creating websites. And so I wanted to combine that digital aspect with the traditional. And so I thought graphic arts was a great way. And then I got into working in publishing too after college and doing pre-press and gaining those skills and learning how to create books, and the formatting was really helpful into I mostly have been doing self-publishing,
Very nice.
and also the clients I work with self-publish too, their work too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good skill to learn. Like I have tried to draw panels in comic books, and I can't even imagine trying to take something like on paper and try and put it on a computer and like do layouts for stuff. It's like so mind blowing. So like that part of it, I really admire the people that have that like computer sense of the brain. And when it comes to art, because I don't have that at all. So
Yeah,
kudos to
I
you.
definitely can seem intimidating, but just kind of, start like when I was first doing my comics digitally, I was still, I wanted to do traditionally hand drawing it, and I was inking my first comic, Eplis, in the series that I inked by hand, and then I
Yeah.
scanned
Oh my
everything
goodness.
in. Yeah, and then the second book, I got a drawing tablet, and that really a Wacom, and that really helped to make it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
And now I draw on the screen. I have one of those, I have a Huion drawing monitor, and I really love that too. So I hook it up to my computer, and it's like very much like you're drawing on paper. And so it's a great combo.
Yeah, it's so weird to see how things have evolved from like going to paper and inking everything by hand and doing it on the computer. It's just comics really do stand the test of time. I mean, because you go from paper to computer and you can still produce a great piece of work. It's amazing. Comics are so fascinating to me. That's why I interview people that create comics because I'm in love with them.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I do still love drawing traditionally. And if anyone wants, my favorite pens are these like zebra pens. So they're brush pens. So I
Oh
get,
wow.
you can get them on like either Dick Blick or Jet pens online, and they're pretty cheap, and or any art store too. But I really love brush pens. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm addicted to pens. Like I don't know. Now that I know there's like an entire pen website, that could be dangerous. Like I love them. They're really cool. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Eplis. So it seems like you've had like a really interesting journey getting to where you are and getting to your self-publishing. Could you tell us a little more about the Eplis comic? Like, where did you get the idea for it? And then, like you said, you were inking it yourself, drawing it yourself. Like, how did that process go?
Yeah, so I love sci-fi, and my husband does too. So we collaborated together to create this comic. Yeah, I so it's kind of like a inspired by, I'd say, like Invader Zim meets Doctor Who and Star Trek, and also just like I'm really influenced, I think, by the style of the cartoons from the 90s.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just love like the color, colorful and wacky, fun characters. And I love creating kids materials because you can be wacky, and it's just a fun way of doing art. And so I started going to Comic Cons around 2009, 2010, and not tabling yet.
Yeah.
But it inspired me in meeting all these creators. I was like, hey, I've been wanting to do this, get back and start doing books again. And why not do a comic book?
Right.
Because I was doing like children's books for a while. And so I was like, let's do a comic book. And so we got excited, and we co-wrote it together.
Oh,
And yeah, and then I started tabling in 2013, and then been tabling since at Comic Cons, and I just felt like so like I found my passion and I found where I belong. Like being at Comic Cons and seeing all those creators, it's just a great environment to be in, and everyone's encouraging each other, and you can have fun, dress up. It's your favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually, it was so amazing that as I was going to events, I started getting fans of my Eplis series who came and they dressed up as the characters.
That must have been fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's just so awesome. But what happened too, often I'd be tabling because I have all like kids stuff and children's books and coloring books and stuff. I'd often be next to and like adult themed creators and like
Oh,
bloody gory comics.
oh
And
yeah.
so I was like, started talking to promoters to be like, hey, let's have a whole, row of just kid-friendly comics. Or it didn't quite seem to, nobody was really wanting to do that. And so I was like, hey, I used to teach art classes. I was teaching at the Courier and also at the Kimball Jenkins School. And I was like, I'd love to run workshops for the kids. So I volunteered to run kid zones, like mini, zones within conventions where we have all these coloring activity tables. And I'd give out my coloring pages I drew for the kids, and we do arts and crafts, and we'd have cosplayers come in like superheroes and princesses and hang out with the kids and do the crafts. And also I would teach them how to create their own comics. And so that became so popular. I was doing it all across the country, really going all around. And then I was like, hey, why don't I take it the next step and create a whole convention devoted just to kids? So this Kids Con New England was born, and we have two shows in New Hampshire and in Maine. So
Wow.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. I mean, my life goal is to like go in Maine, and I want to retire in Maine. So I would definitely check that out if I ever finally made my way up there.
Yeah,
So
this is in Portland, Maine, and yeah, I love Portland. It's a nice area, good food,
mm,
and also I like sailing. Do you ever?
never done sailing. No, but I like I said, if I ever retire in Maine, like I'm gonna do like everything. I'm just gonna relax and just retire and write. Like that's what I want to do. I like want a typewriter and buy a hiking trail with 3 dogs, and like that's just my life goal.
Yeah,
And I guess my husband can come too if he wants to, but
Stephen King's house is up there too.
yeah, right. Exactly. That's why I'm like, I need to go. It's calling me. So now there's another reason I have to go to Maine. So that's perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So congratulations on that. That seemed like a really big accomplishment and very fulfilling that you got to do that.
Thanks. Yeah, I started the Kids Con New England in 2015.
Wow. So how did that like startup process go? Like, was it relatively smooth? Were there like some bumps in the road? Like, how did it go? Like, I have no idea what that process would even look like. Like, I'm gonna start a con. Like, I don't know. What does that look like?
Yeah, well, I think it definitely helped being like behind the scenes when I was working at conventions, tabling at conventions. So I knew the perspective from the artists, being, tablers. I saw the flow of how people would run in and check in and stuff. And then also I was working, organizing workshops and schedules. So I think that just helped build my skill set to start. And I started off with a small event, because obviously you're not going to have like Boston size, like huge right away. But and then it just slowly grew it from there, and we keep continuing to try to expand. And then who knows, eventually we may expand it to other states, and which I would love to do. But then the pandemic hit, and we had to cancel our shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask, are you doing any virtual ones or anything?
Yeah, so last May we did a 2-day virtual event of our KidsCon event. Yeah, called KidsCon Online. It's kidscononline.com. And so it was really awesome. We got creators from across the country who wouldn't otherwise have been able to participate. So
Great.
and then we had still like all the workshops. We had sing-along story times, puppet shows, science with Supergirl, and we had game makers, like indie game makers, and they showed how their games are made.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we did a virtual costume contest. Still have everyone submit their pictures, and we had a coloring contest. And it's a lot of fun.
That is super fun. Oh my goodness. That sounds like something I would totally want to do. Like that's amazing. And I'm not gonna let you slide past that part where you said science was Supergirl. I really like the fact that, one of the things that I'm a teacher and of young kids. But one thing we like to do is try and incorporate science, engineering, things like that toward females where it's not necessarily, given to them as a choice. So I would like to put emphasis on that and congratulate you and give you some kudos on that because that's really something important to push for women and empowerment. So kudos
Yeah,
to you on that.
definitely. Especially, hopefully, more women go up to space and go to Mars. Exciting things are
Yeah.
happening.
And also in the comic book industry. I mean, look, you're doing
Definitely.
groundbreaking stuff with children and getting them involved in comics and you know comics are, originally they were for children and now we as adults like them and you're bringing it right back to the kids and bringing it and introducing it to them at a young age. And also you're showing them that comics and geekdom isn't necessarily just for the boys, it's for the girls too. And I
Yeah.
can draw just as good as a boy can draw. So again, kudos to you on that one.
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot because when I was a kid, I it was just like mainly like you thought comics as being for boys. Like it just had very like more mature, like you go to a comic book shop, it wasn't a typical place
Mhm.
back in the 80s and 90s for girls to hang out in. And now, I mean, it's definitely there weren't even a whole lot of really friendly kid comics out there other than Garfield and stuff. But now there's so much more indie comic creators
Mhm.
out there, and I love like the publishers like Oni Press and Image Comics are coming out with more and more like My Little Pony and all that stuff that's fun.
Oh yeah. I'm happy to see like SpongeBob was out there. I'm a huge SpongeBob fan. I'm gonna admit it. They had Muppet Babies are making a comeback in comics. Like,
Yeah.
and I remember, I think the only comic I ever read as a child was Barbie when Barbie had a comic. So it's very nostalgic looking at what's coming out now
Mhm.
and seeing all the stuff that the kids have access to, and the different choices they have. I mean, they can pick their genres, they can pick different characters, they can pick space, they can pick animals, like they can pick whatever they want, and it's very empowering for them to have those choices. So it's
Yeah, one of my favorites as a kid was Disney Adventures magazine.
oh,
And so it had all those like DuckTales
oh,
and
yeah.
Darkwing Duck. And so I really, yeah, I loved that too.
And that brings me to a question I almost forgot. You actually interned for Disney, which is really cool. Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty big. Like, what did you do as an intern there?
Yeah, so I was there for a semester and it was I did it as a summer semester. I was originally going to be there longer, but I they kept delaying more of my college classes and I really was so wanting to graduate on time.
Mhm.
So it was a difficult decision to because they I was supposed to be doing the art department there, and then they kept changing my schedule and stuff, and then I was going more to the business side of things, which I mean it was still educational experience, but I was bummed when they said they moved their art department over to California right when I went there doing department, so that kind of crushed my heart. but but yeah, I still got to see, how they run things and it was educational. And I think that helped to, put things perspective too for myself starting my own business,
There you go.
being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. So you didn't necessarily go there for the business aspect, but you kind of took it and you used it to start your own thing. So that's good. At least you learned from it. It wasn't a total loss that, you couldn't really get into their art department. So that's good, a learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also want to find out like what are you currently working on? So I know you have out already. What is it called? Oh, I can't think of it. It's the
Yeah, I have the,
Pumpkin Wizard series. So you have that out there already. Is
yeah.
that like a continuing series? I think that is so cool. Goodness.
Yeah. Yes, I actually, two books that came out last year that I illustrated. So it's a children's book, anti-bullying series, and this is the other one.
Oh, I love it.
And this one's the most recent, the Pumpkin Wizard meets Mr. S.
Very
And
good.
the other one is the Pumpkin Wizard goes to the North Pole.
Oh my goodness.
And I love the spaceship
Yeah,
aspect of
no, that's
it.
perfect. So you
So
even got your sci-fi in there too, so that's good.
yeah, it was created and written by Derek Dextrace, and it's a local New Hampshire. I live in New Hampshire, and this was a local New Hampshire creator and takes place in Dover, New Hampshire. So I thought that was even cooler. And this boy, he's being bullied, and he discovers he can talk to pumpkins, and he has this like magical experience where the pumpkins come alive and they help defeat the bullies.
Perfect. I love it. But I love Halloween. Halloween's my favorite holiday. So the fact that you can talk to pumpkins is just spot on what I like.
And they have all sorts of fun adventures. They end up saving the pumpkin planet, and then they also celebrate Christmas for the first time on the pumpkin planet, and they meet Santa Claus on Earth, and they're like, "Come to the pumpkin planet,
Oh,
celebrate Christmas." It's a fun story, and I'm working on the next book in the series too this year.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
and
is it Christmas themed as well? Because you got North Pole meets Mr. S.
a little bit. It has yeah, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to discuss
Oh,
everything
yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it has a little bit still has the adventure and introduces some new aspects to the story, but it should be a lot of fun.
Mm.
And I am also working on a new project too, which I wish I could talk about, but it's a new comic book,
Ooh,
and a comic book series. Hopefully, more books she has planned on, and so I'm super excited about that. And so it's basically like uh, about the bond of a daughter and father, and it's really a touching story. So I'm excited.
oh, that sounds really sweet. Oh my goodness. So you have like a lot of cool stuff coming up. That's really awesome.
Yeah. And I'm also working on animation for some music videos. So
What?
exciting.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about like your animation stuff. So, what have you done in the past as far as your animation? And like, I'm guessing, is that something you just, I know you're working on the computer and stuff and working with doing that graphically. Is it just something you stumbled upon, or is it like, I really want to get an animation?
Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to get into animation, and I so wanted to go to school for animation. Unfortunately, I had to settle for a state college, and they didn't have any animation programs.
Oh,
But then I taught myself, and nothing wrong with that. There's so much now; it's even easier. The programs out there that's available. It was harder back then. Um, but basically I was just doing, the traditional kind of flip book stuff for a long time.
mhm.
And and I don't know if anyone out there knows of Microsoft 3D Movie Maker that was in the late 90s.
Not a clue.
Yeah, so that was my first thing with 3D.
Oh,
It
wow.
was really fun. And then I also did some in Maya and Bryce, but not too much. Mainly now I'm just working in the Adobe Creative Suite and like Adobe Animate and using Photoshop and also Character Animator. And I animated the host of our KidsCon online event too.
Uh,
So yeah, the Comic Explorers and the little dragon too. And so my husband and I did the voices, and it was a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, like I love doing the cutesy, characters. It's a lot of fun. I do also do realistic portraits and stuff like that. And I do caricatures of people. So I do a diverse amount of work, but I'd have to say my strength, I think, is in the cartooning.
Yeah, because I saw I was checking out your website and everyone check the description below because it's gonna have tons of stuff in there about Emily. So I was seeing the caricatures. You do some young adult stuff as well. You have an art blog, which is cool. Like I would love to do a blog eventually with my life, but I can't keep up with anything. So kudos to anybody that can keep a blog going. Um, but yeah, I mean that's really cool. You have a lot of stuff that you're into and that you're doing very well. You're like really rocking it out. I'm impressed.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I forgot to mention another book I did was like for preteens and up called HyperDork,
Oh
a
my
comic.
goodness. I love that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Scott Pilgrim-esque,
Mhm.
and this guy is down on his luck finding love and gets laughed at and picked on for all the wrong reasons. Finally decides to embrace his inner dorkiness and becomes a superhero hyper dork. So he just goes full on dork, and
Yeah.
he gets his superpowers from caffeine and coffee.
I can relate. That is literally all I drink. I don't drink anything else but coffee, and I drink it all day long. Like, the reason I'm up at 9:25 at night is because I had a coffee at 3:30. So, yeah, no, that sounds right up my alley. I'm probably going to check that out. Um, so of course we are a toy slash nostalgia slash geek culture channel. Just curious because we love toys. Do you like collect anything? Like, do you collect anything that you used to play with or used to like?
Well, we have some Doctor Who figures,
There you go. That's great.
and I have a Pikachu.
Oh my goodness. I have the one of him like dressed as a Charizard. So I totally get it. They're so cute.
Yeah. So I know I'm a kid at heart too. So it's like, nothing wrong with adults having kid toys.
My entire house. This is my office. Like, we've got right there a Popple. We've got like a Rainbow Bright right there. I've got
Oh my God.
all my pops there. I got a Teddy Ruxpin Grubby. I got a Care Bear. Like, and this is just my office.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's like a Barbie there, some Twilight figures there. Like, it's a whole thing. Our entire house is toys. We love toys. Um, and then I guess the last question I had for you, my husband and I do this channel. It all started mainly because during COVID times, he was buying so much stuff online and he wanted to see my reactions of the stuff that I was, opening. He's like, guess what I got today? He's like, I want you to open the box. And I would open it and I'd have these reactions and he's like, I have to get this on camera. This is crazy. So we just started, filming our unboxings and stuff. And now it's become like a husband and wife duo type thing. And he helps me with my channel and helps with all the technical stuff, putting stuff together. So I was kind of curious, like, how has it been like working with your husband and, doing some projects with him? I know my husband and I have a blast with it, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, I actually, it's really awesome. Well, let me go back. I actually was working as a medical assistant, as a certified ophthalmic assistant for a little over 10 years, right before COVID hit. I had left to pursue my art and my convention business because I was like traveling all over all the time.
Mm.
It was a lot to take on. I had all these projects coming on. So kind of worked out, I guess. I love that. But I was working for a while by myself, and then my husband's office closed, and he got to work here with us, and we shared the office, which I actually really like the company, other than I have my cat, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's we're back to back, but we get along, and also when we're working creatively on projects at night and stuff, and on the weekends and so it's yeah, I think it's a lot of fun having a creator in-house with you, definitely, and you can share your ideas off each other.
yeah, it really helps when you have that one thing in common. Like, my husband and I both really love toys. So, any spare time, well, I wouldn't say any spare time, but when we don't have our little one, our 3-year-old, we are actually like toy hunting. Like, so it's something that we do and that kind of brings us together. So I figured you guys had the kind of same bond that we had and doing the co thing with your hobbies. So yeah.
Yeah, it's great to have that encouragement too, especially now it can get lonely, and to have, other people out there, close that can continue to encourage you to keep at it. It's
That's
important.
really true. Well, those are all the questions I had. I really enjoyed talking to you and getting to know more about all the awesome things you do. You are a very talented lady, and I'm very impressed with all you have accomplished. And I'm very much looking forward to like reading more of your stuff, especially the future stuff that's coming out. So I definitely wish you the best of luck with your future projects. And again, thank you so much for doing this interview.
Yeah, thanks. And if anyone wants to check out my stuff, go to emilyatplay.com, and there's a link on my Store Envy site. You can get my comics and commission me to do art too. And yeah, I'm also on Facebook, Emily at Play, if you type in Facebook, and on Instagram, Emily Drouin Art. And then our KidsCon New England event, we are planning, hopefully, things will be better by this fall, for November 13th at the Doubletree in Portland, Maine. So we're excited to have that, and we'll make sure, follow all the proper procedures and everything and keep it safe, and probably not have as many people, obviously,
Yeah.
and people still wear masks and all, but we hope to continue. And you can check out our events at kidsconne.com and kidscononline.com. We have a whole video library of all the workshops and stuff, so it's accessible for anyone who wants to see it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and now I'm really hoping maybe I can convince my husband for a trip to Maine in November. That would be great. But yeah, everybody check the description below because we're going to put all that information that Emily just gave us in there as well. So you can just click it and go. And yes, go see her, get her comic, commission her to do some cool stuff. Like I highly implore you, like it's totally worth it. I'm probably going to be getting something done by you in the near future. Just a warning. So
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. All right, everybody. Until next video and next interview, we'll see you later. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Curious. So I know you do like a lot of stuff with kids and conventions. Are you familiar with Mark and Chris Mariano, the Mariano brothers? Okay, that's I
Yeah,
figured.
I actually I did workshops with them
I'm
over at Baltimore Con.
yeah, and that's where I was as well. That's where I met them. Oh God, I don't forget. We went the last year right before COVID. I think it was 2017, 18, the year right before COVID. We wound up going to that one.
Yeah, I was at those too.
Yeah, it was super fun because my husband has he has an epilepsy awareness comic book. And so we went, and it's geared toward children. And so we've been giving it out for years. Like my husband's been doing it since 1995. And so we went, and our now 15-year-old, he was selling his comic that he created, The Bubbler. And then we were doing, passing out some of my husband's free epilepsy awareness stuff when we were there. So
Oh, awesome.
that was a really good convention. I can't wait to do Baltimore again.
I know. It was a lot of fun. I just loved like the energy, and everyone was so friendly. And yeah, Baltimore was really fun
Yeah,
place to be.
yeah, because our table was right in like the kids section. Like
Yeah.
we got that section, and then we wound up making some like really good contacts. Like there's a kid there who, God, I think he was 13, and he is so talented. Like it blows me away the stuff that he is able to create. And his name's LJ, and we wound up commissioning him to do another part of my husband's comic book. So like,
Awesome.
yeah, because I'm all about kids creating stuff. I don't creative inclined, but not
I
him.
picked up a comic from a kid. I was probably like 9 years old or so, and the comic was called Super Cheese.
Super, of course, because there has to be a super cheese. You can put super on anything, and it'd be fantastic. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he was so talented too. It's awesome seeing that, and that's why I love doing like running kids shows and teaching kids workshops, just encouraging them. And then like I'm seeing them, it's like seeing myself when I was their age, and like how bright-eyed and how excited they are by it. And it's really great to inspire the next generation of creators.
Yeah, that's true because their ideas are so uninhibited. Like they're not limited to what we feel and see as adults. Like our souls are crushed. Like we have to go to work every day. We have to do stuff we don't want to do. Kids, their life is as simple as, you know what? I'm having a cheese sandwich. It's going to be super cheese. And so it's so simple and it's unweighted and it's so free and lively. Like I just love what they come up with. And that's kind of why I've been working with kids since I was 18 because they're cool people and I like them. So I totally get it. But yeah, I'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your night. And
Thank
And
you.
I will let you know as soon as the video goes up. So we're going to be doing some editing soon. So, but thank you so much for doing the interview.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
enjoyed it a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, take care. Best wishes. Good health.
You too as well. All right. I'll be in touch soon.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Hey everyone! So we have reached a new milestone and I'm really excited because finishing one milestone means I can go make another one. So I would like everyone to make sure that they're continuing to comment, like, and subscribe on the page and get your friends and family to do it too, because the more the channel grows, the more fun stuff we get to do. So I wanted to let you guys know we're going to still do giveaways and such with the comments, and the comments have been reset at the 150 mark. So any videos after January 10th is how we're going to count the comments going forward. So make sure you're commenting on the new videos that are coming out. So I'm thinking our next giveaway is probably going to be at the 300 subscribers mark, and I think it's very doable. I think we can reach it, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it. So I think I don't know. I don't think I know what the prize is going to be yet. So it's to be determined. We'll see. And I'm always taking suggestions. So if you want to put something down in the comments that some toy that you would like to see as a giveaway, just let me know. So yeah, and it could be another winner's choice. So who knows? And don't be disheartened. I know some of you think that 300 is really far away, but who knows? I may just do a random giveaway in the middle just because I like doing giveaways. So stay tuned. I may put a secret word in a video that if you are the first one to find the hidden word, then you get a toy or get a prize. So who knows? So stay tuned, and I appreciate you guys as always, and help me reach my next milestone. I'll see you soon.